Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Kelvin here. 2022 has not been a good year for many people. In the stock market, S&P 500 is having its worst start to a year since 1939. Nasdaq is down almost 30%. Even my Tesla stock is down by a lot. At the same time, inflation has hit an all-new high level of 8.6%, while consumer sentiment don't feel so good right now. So the question that's on everyone's mind, are we heading into a recession? What does the data say? And if so, how much more can the market fall? Hint, it can fall a lot more. So in this video, I want to talk about all this today, then share how I'm investing right now. But before I start, I would greatly appreciate it if you can help to tap the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's get this channel to 100k by this year end. In return, I will show you a cute pic. Alright, let's start right now. In April, it was reported that inflation hit a record high of 8.5%. Then last month, inflation dropped to 8.3%. And everyone be like, hang on, inflation had slowed down already. Just when you thought the worst is over? No, latest data show that inflation started going back up again to 8.6%, the highest it has ever been since 40 years ago. Rising inflation means that the cost of goods and services are going up. In this case, going up by a lot. Gas price hits $5 for the first time ever. The rate of rising food prices have gone up to 40-year highs. Rents have increased all across US. Meanwhile, our salary doesn't go up at all. So, inflation equals recession coming? Yes and no. Inflation is inflation. Recession is recession. There are two different things here. While inflation measures the rate of increase of goods and services, recession is a decline in economic activity, generally recognized as GDP falling by 2 consecutive quarters. But there's a connection between the two. Here's how. All along, the Fed's goal has always been trying to keep inflation at around 2%. Because if inflation is too high, people will be unable to afford to buy stuff. And right now, that's what's happening. So, to fight inflation, the Fed will have to raise interest rates. Now, the Fed has already raised interest rates twice this year. 25 basis points in March and 50 basis points in May. But it's still not enough because inflation is still not coming down yet. So, the Fed will have to continue raising interest rates for a while. If we look back at the past rate hike cycles, out of 13 rate hikes, 10 came with a recession. The biggest rate hike was around 1980, where interest rates went all the way up to 19%, which then caused a 2-year recession. Now, the Fed has signaled that they will be aggressive in fighting inflation, because between inflation and a recession is easier to fix. You just print more money, and many other stuff, of course. But when inflation goes out of control, you will start to see crazy stuff, like a chicken costing $72 to buy, or a cheap house selling for over $1 million. And that's bad, because ain't nobody got money for that. So when it was reported that inflation continued staying high, everyone predicts that the Fed will raise interest rates even more aggressively. You can see this in CME Fed Watch 2. Just last week, everyone thought that there's a high probability that the new rate will be 125 to 150 basis points. But now, the chance of the rate going even higher has gone up. Just last week, University of Michigan reported that consumer sentiment has dropped to record low levels. How low? The consumer sentiment now is lower than 2020 during the pandemic, lower than 2007 Great Financial Crisis, and even lower than 1970 where the Great Recession happened. Basically, sibei low now. What this means is that people are not optimistic about the state of finance due to everything going up in prices. And when everyone is not optimistic, they will start to cut back on spending. It was estimated that consumer spending comprises 70% of GDP. So when people cut back on spending, the GDP will fall even more. Right now, there are 2 important dates to take note. The first date is on 14 June, where the Fed will be meeting to decide how much to raise interest rates. The more important date is July 28, where they will release data on GDP for the second quarter. By then, we will know whether the recession is here or not. Quick pause, just in case you haven't heard, Webull is the latest stockbroker in Singapore. With Webull, you can buy your US stocks, US options, and Hong Kong stocks for a low fee of $0. Yes, you heard that right. That's $0. They also have fractional shares, which lets you buy your stocks with just $5 angpao money. Then, of course, you might be wondering, what's their welcome gift? I'm glad you asked. If you sign up with my link down below, deposit at least $2,000, then make 6 buy trades on either US stocks, ETFs, or options, you'll get $100 worth of Apple shares. This promotion ends on 30th June, yeah? With that being said, let's get back to the video. Okay, here's the more important question. How much more can the market fall? Well, it depends who you listen to. Jim Cramer says that tech stocks have nowhere else to go but up, which according to the always inverse Cramer rule, tech stocks have nowhere else to go but down. Ray Dalio says that stocks will crash another 25%. Michael Burry, as usual, is warning about a market crash. Okay, right now, the market is still definitely overvalued. If we look at the PE ratio of S&P 500, right now it's around 20, while the mean is closer to 16. Here's another chart, Shiller PE ratio, which takes into account inflation-adjusted earnings. Right now it's at 30, which is way off from the mean of 17. Both of these charts show that S&P 500 is still overvalued, meaning there's still room for it to go down more. But the real question is, why will it go down more? Because if you go back to the chart, the PE ratio can remain high for a long time. There's always something to cause it to go back down. At 2000, it was the dot-com bubble popping. For 2007, it was the great financial crisis. What about this time? Some of you may be like, it's going to crash because of recession. So simple. Not really. A study by Russell Research looked at the correlation between GDP and stock market returns, and they found that the correlation is only negative 0.05, or in other words, a recession doesn't have much effect on the stock market. Instead, the reason that will cause the market to crash is lower earnings. We have seen that happening already. For example, Google reported weak earnings, Shopify missed earnings, Walmart and Target missed earnings also. And on top of that, there's layoffs everywhere in the tech sector. For example, PayPal has begun cutting staff to reduce costs. Robinhood is cutting 9% of their staff. Tesla is cutting 10% of their manpower. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Many more companies have either laid off their staff or have frozen hiring. You get my point. Company earnings are falling, and this will cause the market to fall further. Take note that so far, company earnings drop has mostly been caused by the effects of war and post-pandemic demand slowdown, and not by rising interest rates. Like when Netflix lost subscribers, it's because there's increased competition and pandemic restrictions have lifted. So people don't have to just sit at home and watch Netflix all day long. It's estimated that the Fed will raise interest rates to 2% by the end of this year and 3% by next year. This will cause earnings to drop further and the market to go down even more. Okay, let's talk about how I'm investing now. My strategy has always been the same since the start. I'm still dollar cost averaging now. Then you'll be like, why buy now? Why not wait till the crash is over, then only buy? Because there are tons of data out there that shows us why timing the market doesn't work. For example, this one, if you were to just buy right at the bottom every time, you'll be underperforming someone who is just buying consistently. And this is just assuming that you can buy the dip perfectly. But if your market timing sucks, like this Tiffany, you'll be performing worse off than everyone and be called a donkey. This study has been done multiple times by different people, like Schwab, who found that dollar cost averaging gives a better and more consistent return than someone who is timing the market. And if that still doesn't convince you, let me share a few reasons why the market might not crash. First, core inflation is going down. Even though the consumer price index have gone up, the core inflation, basically everything here like housing, apparel, education, communication, everything here except for food and energy is actually going down, which might suggest that inflation is actually declining. Second, the war can still end anytime. The war is the main cause for this whole situation. If maybe, just maybe, that the war ends for whatever reasons, then the market will suddenly shoot back up and you will miss the boat. So with these few reasons, I know that I can't possibly time the market. Rather than spending time and energy to predict the market bottom, it's better to focus on things that we can control, like buying consistently or subscribing to my channel. Because as history has shown, the market tends to go up because stonks. Anyway, that's all for today. Like, share, and subscribe as I'll be posting new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.